Hello, I'm Coach Sarah, this is Coach Fernanda. We are both kids coaches. But one of the techniques that we actually teach the kiddos, which is from ages 3 to 12 to 14, is a basic wrist escape. Because most children are going to be snagged by either an attacker or be abducted by an attacker that's an adult in a public place. And the first way to get out of that is by learning how to get out of the wrist escape, and then being vocal enough as a small child to alert sort of the other adults in the area for safety purposes. So Fernanda, because she's shorter than me, is going to be the child. I'm going to be the scary attacker, and the scene is Costco. Okay?
We are the setting is Costco.
Okay.
I am free.
All right. All right.
You're not my mom. You're not my mom.
Come here, little girl.
You're not my mom. You're not my mom.
So the first thing that Fernanda does when I grab her is, even if I've got her over or under, she's gonna position her thumb right, or the side of her hand against my thumb. And as soon as she pulls inward, my grip comes unloose. And then she screams, "You're not my mom, you're not my mom," and runs away as if to alert everyone around her, to make them aware that I am not a safe person, but is able to get out. She'd do the same thing on the other side. She would just shoot her arm inward again and straight out. If I came across her, because you'll notice we did same hand, or same side, same side. If I come across her this time, it's the same idea. Go ahead and break apart. So she's literally taking this part of my hand, which is the weakest part of my hand, and forcing her arm in that direction. So for the kids that we teach, this is the first thing that we teach, is to go inward towards the thumb or outward towards the thumb, depending on if it's same side or cross-armed. So if you have any questions, reach out to Jessie. I've got a good example. One of the things Fernanda and I both teach here at Next Level that was instilled from Coach Robin Master Edmondson is really not only to teach the kids to be leaders within the dojo, but to be leaders outside of the dojo. And we focus on confidence and respect and being able to focus and follow directions, so on and so forth. But it doesn't mean just here with the coaches, it also means with parents, with your teachers, with your friends, with your grandparents, so on and so forth. And this particular kid happens to be, I want to say, in about 5th grade, and I wouldn't say a slender build. He's kind of a stockier build, and he's never done martial arts before, but he loves it. And he's currently a white belt. Actually just earned his yellow belt yesterday. And one of the stories he came in to tell the 3 coaches and I was about a situation getting onto the bus with himself and a 2nd grader. And his dad was with him, and his dad had encouraged him to tell the coaches the story, but it turns out that the 2nd grader had started pushing him in front of the bus. And in my mind, I went, okay, he's a 5th grader, little 2nd grader is trying to, earn points and be the tough kid. And so I asked, our particular student, I said, well, did you use your Krav? And he goes, no, I thought about it. And I went, but he's in 2nd grade, and what good does that do me? And so the kid pushed, and then punched him in the gut. And I said, you didn't retaliate? And he goes, no, I'm bigger than him. I didn't need to use my Krav. He was just a kid, and we were getting on the bus. I was just a 2nd grader, and we were getting on the bus. So not only did we high-five him for making the right choice in this situation, but then we also challenged him on, well, do you know how to defend a gut shot? Like, if you're gonna get punched and you're gonna get pushed, how do you defend it and continue to use your words? And he did use his words in this situation too. So we commended him for making good choices in when to use Krav and when not to. And that's kind of what we're about and what we teach in our kids program. If it's somebody you don't know, if it's an adult in the park, if it's a stranger, if it is one of your classmates and it happens to be in school, what are other ways that you can ask for help without having to go right into using your combative moves? And a lot of those has to do with finding your teacher or finding an adult, yelling out loud or using your words, de-escalation, hey, I don't like that, please stop punching me, before you ever need to use it. And I just thought that was a really inspiring example of a kid that has some martial arts training, and I'm sure is dying to use use it in a real life scenario, but made a better choice because he understands when and when not to use it. So I'm super proud of him.
I am going to speak from a mom because I do have an 11-year-old son, and who was actually bullying camps in many different sizes, and my son was being bullied from his own cousins who were 3 and 6 years older than he was. So I think with Krav, even though he never necessarily used what he learned, just the confidence that it built in him to be able to know that if I needed to use to defend myself, this is what I have to do. And I think that that is something that, like Coach Sarah said, that here at Next Level, we focus in teaching the kids and even the grown-ups is having that confidence if you need to defend yourself, what you need to do, not necessarily because you're going to use it all the time, but just having that stronger build, I think it has made a big difference for my son. We do all kinds of things. Right now we're in September and doing ground month and teaching a kid how to defend themselves while they're in the ground, and we have combatives, so each month is different, that we focus on the different skills for the child to learn. But obviously before we do that, there's some type of warm-up for the kid that they do jumping jacks, sit-ups, and sometimes coaches get creative on the type of things and do running in place and then throw yourself on the floor and then go up, certain challenges that the kids do to get their energy out. So I think that there's always creative ways, and I think as coaches, like Coach Sarah said, it is important to get to know the kid because you have kids of different ages, different needs, different learning styles. So being able to relate and know how that kid learns, doing sound effects, one of the defense, you plug, when you're doing your choke defense, you talk, it's like, okay, you teach the kid and tell them, it's like, okay, now, what is it, hunt the horn, or, the button, the choo-choo. So finding ways to make the kids, relate and understand what we're teaching them, because obviously it's something that when the time comes, they need to feel the confident to be able to use those skills.